Hi guys, this is Tony here from Metal Roos. You're about to sit down and enjoy an interview I just did um, over there, and so do like and subscribe so you can get all this straight into your streaming and into your consciousness as soon as it arrives. So enjoy the interview, and I will. Over to you, Tony. Well, thanks for coming on, Toby, to talk to us about your new album. Um, I had a listen to it the last few days, and it's pretty cracking adventure of an album you brought out there because it's your 10th studio album, isn't it? For Avantasia.
Yeah, it is. It is the 10th Avantasia album, my 20th in total, and yeah, it's I'm a busy bee, even though it doesn't really feel like it, because when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work always, and it just came together so naturally, and sometimes I have to pinch myself when people remind me of, how much I have on my track record and how many things I've done. Because I hardly look back and very rarely I look back and count what I've done in the past. I still think I'm at a point in my career where I still want to make future, um, material for future nostalgia. Let's put it
Yes,
this way.
yes,
A
yes.
lot of people, for the die-hard fans, it's always they become nostalgic when you release your second album because it doesn't sound like the first demo tape you've done. So that's their interpretation of nostalgia. I think I have a couple of years to go until I actually turn to nostalgia. I want to create albums at this point
Yeah, I think you're
that
definitely
people,
there.
yeah, and I want people I want to create albums that people look back on and with a nostalgic feeling 10 years from now. So I think I got a couple of years to go to create new stuff before I do the first farewell tour.
Yeah, I think a lot of way there, mate. I was reading that you only originally were going to do two albums, and look, you're 10 albums down the track. So it's quite an achievement,
Yeah,
really.
life is what happens to you while you're making plans. I know it sounds like a calendar meme, and it is probably, but yeah, it was originally I just wanted to do two albums. I was completely busy in Edguy, and I felt like I had enough to say there. At a certain point, I felt I wanted to do something outside the box. You know how it is. You're
Mm.
21 years old, and you think you get this midlife crisis when you think, "Oh, this can't be everything in life. I have to do something outside the box." I was 20 years old. I'm talking midlife
Yeah.
crisis, uh, and I just wanted to do something outside that guy, and I wanted to do something on my own account where I had, where I didn't have to discuss and where I didn't have um, to defend my ideas, and also to work with people that I looked up to that were not in the band. I mean, people like Michael Kiske, people that I
I know.
knew as a
Amazing.
music lover. And that's what I wanted to do back then. And so I did those two records. They were a lot of work. It was a lot of weight on my shoulders. So after the albums were done without an accident, I thought like never again. So much pressure, so much responsibility. Um, I had to be careful with the budget and I had to please the record company who believed in me. And by that time, when the albums were done, I said, okay, never again. And I returned to Ed Guy. We did a couple of albums, and eventually, I think it was 2008. I thought about doing a solo record. I wanted to do something on my own account because you know how it is in bands. Even if you're the band leader, there's always five opinions and you have to
Hmm.
defend things and you fight like brothers and you say, no, but I think your song idea is shit. No, I think your song idea is shit. And you know how it is. So I said, I want to do a solo record. Two songs I had written. One was Lost in Space, one was Scarecrow. By the time it was finished, the Scarecrow song, or the layout of the song demo wise, I thought, okay, this sounds like Avantasia. If I would ever do Avantasia again, it would sound like that. And then all of a sudden I can have all these different kinds of singers help me sing the Scarecrow. And I wrote more songs and I stumbled into the revival of Avantasia. And then everything came step by step. One accident happened after another accident, fortunate accidents, because I was offered to headline Wacken Open Air. And I said, I'm
Wow.
not going to play live with that. I'm not going to play live with Avantasia. But then if you think again, I mean, you don't get that offer every week for a relatively I don't want to say underground musician, but a musician. I mean, not many bands headline Wacken open air.
Mm.
So I had that offer, and I thought, okay, if you turn down that offer, you will never get that chance again, and rightfully so. So I said, okay, let's do it. And then again, all of a sudden, Japan was asking, you can play a show here too. And then Latin America was asking, we want a tour of Avantasia here. And so it just came together. I didn't really, it's not my fault. I didn't do anything. It just came, came
It
in
snowballed. It snowballed.
yes. So, so
Because
yeah, that's why.
yeah, because the new album, some of those, I mean, all the people on it. The amount of people you work with, I'm not even going to try and repeat them here because it'll take the whole 20 minutes up just putting names, on there. But Michael Kiske, as you said, is back on there, and Jeff Tate. I mean, just some incredible sets of lungs on your albums. And this new one is I mean, it's different to the last one. I mean. I think it all changes. I mean, that's the thing. You might say you're reviving it, but it does change. None of your Advantageous albums are the same. I don't think.
No, no,
No.
no. And the funny thing is, I don't do that on purpose. It's not that I say, I don't sit down and have a plan. I never have a master plan. A lot of people think so. And I think a lot of what is done in metal today is painting by numbers. And some people, I mean, it's a different approach. Some people just sit down and have to have a concept and have to have not a concept in terms of a lyrical story concept, but also, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to wear those kinds of clothes. And if you
Yeah.
open a magazine these days, it looks more like a live action role play magazine because all these people are dressed up as
Yeah.
vampires and pirates and crusaders and what have you. So
Vikings.
Vikings, yeah, yeah. No metal magazine without at least three Viking bands. So I never approached it that way. I basically writing is a very innocent thing for me. And the album that comes out is a byproduct of a beautiful process of self-therapy, of sitting down and turning my feelings like writing diary, keeping diary. I just put my thoughts and whatever I have on my mind and whatever black cloud hangs above my head, or maybe sometimes it's a white cloud, sometimes it's sunshine. I just turn
Mhm.
it into music and feeling and my feelings into music and notes and harmonies, and out come these songs, and then I record them because it feeds my family, and
Yeah.
it's great fun to to hold your own music in hands and listen to it and say, hey, look, that has not been existing 1 year ago.
Yeah.
So and now it has come to exist. So it's I never really go for reinventing the wheel, or I don't have a master plan. It's just this album, I have to say, was approached slightly differently to the previous albums, because it's the first album that has not a storyline
I
lying
was going to say
underneath.
I
It's a
couldn't find a storyline to it. Yes.
no,
Okay.
no, no, no. And I approach it like that. Usually
Mm.
in the past, I sat down and wrote a story concept. It was loosely followed sometimes when I did the final record, but I had a rough story concept, and I tried to wrap all these songs around the story concept and somehow use it like a spine, like a guideline. And it can be a guideline, but it can be also um a ball and a chain.
A
It
hindrance.
can
Yeah.
be a yeah. And for this record, I just wanted to, you know, put my foot on the gas and just slide into the process without thinking too much about it. I didn't write a storyline. I said, okay, at this point, I have so much confidence. I need it to do it more freely because that's just what I felt like.
Yeah.
And I thought the DNA of Avantasia is so certain. It's there. Whenever I do it, when I put Avantasia on the artwork, when I work with my people, when I write with that mindset, it will sound and feel and smell like Avantasia. It doesn't even depend on what made Avantasia in the first place, the storyline of the metal opera back then. That was the
Mm.
initial idea of Avantasia, but I had the confidence that even if I broke with that tradition, it would still be Avantasia. And I think I got away with it.
You did. I mean, you did, mate. Because there's some tracks on here. I really love it. Unleash the Kraken, which is my favorite on the album. I
Oh, thank
really
you.
loved that track. And Avalon. Um, because I mean there's a loose fitting thing because you've got dragons and krakens and I mean it's sort of if you want to find one you could probably find one, but it's not, you know, I just think that the Unleash the Kraken was like probably the banger on the album. I don't know why, I just think that's, I mean, and that's the one you singing on that one, is that right? That's the
Yeah,
your
it's just
baby.
me.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I'm going to pay you
Mm.
for that later on.
That's right. No, but I'd
Um,
mean it too. I
it's
mean,
it's really
don't get me wrong. The whole album is great, right, from beginning to end.
no, but Unleash the
Because
Kraken that I'm singing
that,
on my own is the best.
yeah,
I agree. I agree.
good. Because, yeah. But I
No,
get it. But I love.
I'm really proud of that song, and it sounds a little bit like that it's got that force and energy of
Mm,
I would say Hellfire Club era Edgar. It's a little bit. I
yes.
always compared it to a more to a wilder version and a crazier version of a song like Under the Moon, maybe,
Mm,
because it's got that riffing, but it's got that playful guitar playing of Sasha, who
yeah.
sounds a little bit like Paul Gilbert on that song, and also a bit like Jeff Waters. I told him because it's got these
Yeah.
thrashy elements, but also it's got these very sophisticated scales. And Sasha, I just told Sasha it's called Unleash the Kraken. Just make it sound like you got multiple arms and just play.
And he did.
So
And he
like a
did.
kraken. Yeah,
Yeah,
and he
because
did, and he
it
did.
did. Because I love the lyric on it as well. Like the chorus on it is so catchy. It's, I know that
Mhm.
you don't always want to hear that about metal music, but it is really catchy. Like I found myself singing to myself walking around the house, you know, and
That's
that's a good
good.
sign. That's a good sign, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and I like it as well. It's very anthemic, and also it was when the song was finished. I thought like, who could be my duet partner for that one? And I thought like, no, no, it doesn't
No,
need
be
because I was
yourself.
so happy. I was so happy with the lyric, with the vocals, and I thought like, it works. It works great, and it's got a great aggressiveness, and it's got a great atmosphere and a great mojo and feeling and. So I said, okay, let's keep it. Why fix something that isn't broke?
Was right. I mean, it's as epic as the artwork, by the way. And you're using the same artist again for all of your stuff, and it's just
No,
it's not. Isn't he new? I thought you're using the same artist, aren't you? Aren't you using the same artist?
I have used him before. Oh,
Oh, so
use him. I didn't use him. He beautifully worked for Avantasia. Thankfully, I didn't use him actually. That sounds no, but Rodney Matthews. He had
yes,
done one album cover artwork for us
oh,
before. He did the Mystery of Time artwork, and
yes,
I've always had. I'm blessed to have worked with the best. I mean, also Alexander Jansson, who did the two previous albums.
mm,
I love his work. I really love his work, but it was so distinctive. And here, the blessing is also the curse. It was so distinctive that if I had done three of him in a row, people would have confused them and would have said like, okay, it's the same. This time, something was different, and I needed to show and
it's a
show that
beautiful cover. I love it.
it's
Yeah,
yeah, and he Rodney Matthews is one of the most. I had worked with him before, as I said, in 2013 for the Mystery of Time,
mm,
and he is living art history. He's a
he is.
legend. He's worked for Asia and for the Scorpions in Nazareth and Tigers of Pantang and
Yeah,
Diamond Head, I think. So
he's
he's
one of
a
my
Magnum,
heroes. So yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because I looked at and when I was looking at the notes, I went, "Oh my God, yeah, you could," and you can see his DNA in the artwork. When you look at it close enough, you can see his DNA.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, it takes a certain bravado these days to put a dragon on an artwork because it may resemble the tank of a motorbike in the 80s with an airbrush dragon on there. So that's what heavy metal is about. It's a lot about cliche. And I said, okay, I want to have a dragon. Finally, I got away without having dragons for 32 years now in my career, 31 years. No, 33 years
yeah.
actually. 92 I
Oh,
started out.
man, you're still
Anyway,
young. Yeah,
uh, yeah, but I wanted to because I think dragons are so cliche in metal that I always said I'm never gonna have dragons. Even in the first story we originally there were dragons in there that they were riding on the elves, and I said no, it can't be. Let them use flying machines. They can't have dragons. Dragons is too obvious in heavy metal, and I got away without dragons. But now I thought after I had the title the album title, Here Be Dragons. I thought, okay, now it's the time to put a dragon on the artwork. The song is not exactly about dragons;
Well, it's
it's
not.
more a
It's
metaphor.
not. No. Yeah, exactly. I didn't think it was about dragons when I listened to it, to be fair.
No, no, it's a
Yeah.
metaphor. It's a metaphor for the approach. I mean, dragons, hippie dragons was a term used on an ancient sea map, to indicate uncharted territory where there
Hmm.
may be dragons, there may be danger. Don't go here. And what was intended to be a warning, I took as an invitation because it sounded like adventure, and it was my approach. This album for the first time without having a storyline. I
It's
just.
Uncharted. Yeah. Yeah.
I just said, okay, let me just approach it. Let me just start working on it and see where it takes me. And that was the approach. And so I thought it was a great headline for the whole record. And I told Rodney Matthews, now is the time. Put a dragon on there, but make it your dragon because he's got a very distinctive way of
Oh,
painting.
yes.
And out came this beautiful dragon. It's not really flavor of the week. Because these days you got to make sure that all the album covers mostly designed to look good, thumbnail size, stamp sized,
Yeah.
on a streaming platform, being looked at on your mobile phone screen, which is so tiny. I have to
Hmm.
wear these. I don't even see what's on my phone. Well, now it's you on my phone actually, but
Yeah.
I see you. I see you with my glasses on. But yeah, it's. I just wanted to have something. I didn't want to be flavor of the week, and I didn't want to do this, the bulky, iconic thing. I said, do something beautiful and just make sure, Rodney, if it looks good on a thumbnail and iconic, and you can still identify it as a dragon, it won't do harm to the whole thing, but do your dragon and make it embellished and make it beautiful, make it colorful, make it old school, make it everything that is not representing the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, and he achieved that. He
And
did a wonderful artwork.
it did, and it encompasses the whole album. I didn't go into the album thinking this was an album about dragons because I
That's good.
looked. I didn't. I mean, sometimes you look at, I mean, classic albums like Iron Maiden covers. You don't go in there thinking it's all about mummies. Power Save isn't all about mummies, right? It's not. Yeah.
No, no,
So,
no, no.
so you sort of, I didn't go there. I looked at the artwork and I just went straight into the album to have a listen. And, there's no way I would go, oh, this is about the lore of dragons, you know,
No,
just
no.
about metaphor. It's a perfect word for me. It's a perfect metaphor. Now you've mentioned it. So going into something new and uncharted, I love that metaphor. It's so exact for what you just said. You've never done it this way before, and into the unknown, and I love it. I hope that,
Absolutely.
yeah, I hope it
That's
really does
always
well. Mm.
it's always been my approach. I mean, I always try to do things. I mean, some people feel offended by certain things that artists do if it's not in to their taste, or if it doesn't match their expectations or whatever. But the thing is, as an artist, you have to be egoistic and just do things your own way, because otherwise, if you're not happy, how are you supposed to make others happy?
Well, that's
So
right.
I
Yeah.
don't even think about making others happy. I just do. A lot of what I do is based on intuition. A lot of, maybe everything is based on intuition. There is not really a master plan. I'm not painting by numbers. I'm doing things, and sometimes other people will terribly disagree with what I have on my mind and say, oh, this doesn't work. And I feel maybe it's not going to work, but it feels great for me. And I only have so many years on this planet. I just want to do things that I derive great joy from. And the rest, I, it's not that I don't care about the fans. I'm completely aware that I would be starving without having fans who would buy what I come up with.
Mm.
But in the end, it's still, for me, the most precious thing about doing music is just, it's, of course, standing in front of an audience is great, and it gets me, it's like a drug. It's just great when you get the feedback and the power of the fans, and you see all these happy faces, and there's a great energy and tension in the arena. I really like that feeling. But the most precious moment, the most precious thing about playing music actually is the moments in front of the piano and just letting out my thoughts and having a feeling, oh, this was igniting a spark. That sounds great. That's a great melody. I haven't written that before. Sometimes I think I haven't written that before, and I have written it before. And people say when the record comes out, "Oh, he's ripping himself off." Yeah, I can. I won't sue myself. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think about that. I just want to write great music and turn thoughts and emotions into music. And of course, there are things that are returning to what I'm doing and certain harmonies I have done before. Absolutely. I don't have the time to think if what makes me happy uh, is new and hasn't made me happy before. The most important thing is it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I share it with the world and everybody, each to their own. They may appreciate it or not. It's beyond my control. I can't bother because otherwise, if it wouldn't work. That's the only way for me to go. And I think, as I said, I most of the time I got away with it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it is energy, Toby. It's energy. So if you go out on the stage and you don't like what you're doing, it's fake, and you don't enjoy what you've made, and you put out, the energy's not going to be there. It's going to feel flat, and the fans are going to know it, man. You have to go. You have to be true to yourself as an artist. I don't think you can go. At the end of the day, those 2 hours that you made treading the boards in front of those fans may only be 2 hours for them, but it's a lifetime of work for you, right? So
Absolutely.
you've got to make sure that you're happy doing that because it's
And
fleeting,
that,
you know.
absolutely. And also on the record, some people don't understand exactly what you just said.
Mm,
For somebody out there, it's just a click on a YouTube video and they
mm,
may resonate with it or not. But some of the comments you see there, I mean, you have to become an ignorant asshole to survive, that rain of arrows that you sometimes feel when you put out something, when you share your inner feelings, and that's what it is.
mm.
I'm not a service provider. I share what I really believe in, the most precious thing, what I'm honestly having to give, I'm sharing with the world. And for some people, it's just a click. And they say, I resonate with it, I don't resonate with it. They may just, for them, it's as easy as just hitting the stop
Yeah,
button and
yeah,
listen to something else. For me, I've been working on that for 1 year. Who in their sane mind as an artist would spend 1 year of his life to deliver something that is based on what you think some anonymous kid in Iowa in the basement of their parents would appreciate.
yeah.
I
No,
don't spend a thought about that. And
no,
I'm
of
not
course.
talking bad about kids in Iowa. They're
No, no,
probably
no. I know,
nice
but it's
kids
a
in
good
Iowa.
analogy, right? It's a good analogy
Yeah,
because it's exactly how I feel because all creation is painful, right? It's art is creation is painful, and you have to put it out there and then bare your soul to these people. But as I said, you're right. All they do is go, swipe left, swipe right, whatever,
yeah.
and it's fleeting. But well, what you have given us over the years, Toby, is so much music. Like you said, 20 plus more the the phenomenal amount of music that you've produced, and to play in front of such big crowds, that you should be proud, very proud, man, because that's a dream that a lot of us have. I've
Oh,
tried to
I,
have.
I, I'm very, sometimes I have to pinch myself, and I am completely aware what a privilege it is to be doing what I do, and I'm very, very grateful. I'm proud. I don't know, proud. Yeah, maybe I'm proud also, but the most I'm thankful. I know that I can't take that for granted because when I was a little kid, all I was dreaming about was to one day make enough money from doing something with music, be it as a journalist or working for a record
Mm.
company or, teaching people. I don't play anything good enough. I'm not good enough at anything to teach other people, but
Oh, I
that was
can.
what. So no, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's just technically I can, if somebody asks me how to sing this way, no, just do it. If it doesn't hurt you and
Yeah,
sounds good,
just do
it's
it.
great.
That's the best way.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
people say like, "How do you sing this way or that way? How do you do this?" I don't really know. I had some lessons, but the most important thing is enjoy what you do, express your honest feelings with your voice, and make sure it doesn't hurt you. And that's those three things. They are the basis for enduring it for a long time and doing it. And if it sounds good, it is good if it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly
um,
right. That's
wh-
exactly right.
what what it does, that was all I wanted to do. Just to spend my life around music and not having a boss in a company that would tell me that, oh, you've done this wrong or that wrong. I hate being told what to do. Everybody who works with me will absolutely sign that and absolutely agree with that. I hate being told what to do. I want to be on top of what I'm doing. I don't want to do harm to people. I treat everybody in the family with the utmost, with the biggest respect. And everybody will probably say that too, and confirm this. But I just never wanted to be told what to do and put down by a boss who has had who doesn't have a good sex life and makes me suffer for it as his employee.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that's
That's what the
what
spirit, but
I
that's yeah, but that's what rock and roll does for you. That's the spirit of rock and roll, man. It sets you free.
absolutely
And
freedom,
freedom,
ultimate
and that's
freedom.
the term. I think the answer there is freedom. And to create beautiful music, mate. And we're coming to the end of this interview, but thank you very much for chatting. The album is
Thank
fantastic.
you.
Comes out very soon, I believe. And it's going to be available everywhere, I'm sure, on all the, as we said, streaming platforms.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you've got to get the tour. Yeah, no, you've got to get the tour ready. That's going to be hard. It's not going to be an easy one. That kind of music's not easy to tour. Not the way that it's
um
produced. So,
No, well, it's. I mean, it's a challenge, but
mm,
challenges. Just because something is not easy, it doesn't mean it's not worth going for it.
mm.
It is difficult to put this together because we're coming with the biggest show we've ever had. We're going to come, with a couple of trucks, and there's a lot of financial pressure on the tour. And we're coming with the biggest lineup we've ever had. I mean, we're going to be nine singers on stage, at least for the
Whoa,
European leg of the tour. It is. We're going to bring a great stage set. We're going to have pyros and fire and some gimmicks for the first time in our career, bringing that to indoor arenas. So it is a lot of work, but again, it's a gift to be able to dream these things up and go for it, and even be in a position where I'm allowed to think and consider those things. And that's why I don't waste a single thought of it not being easy or being a challenge. Yes, it's a challenge, but I'm happy to be in the position to approach such a challenge, because
wonderful.
when you're playing the boss in your neighborhood, it's a little boy's wet dream to have these stage props and stuff. And and now it's not anymore. It's a challenge. Yeah, I'm gonna rack my brain about many things, and we're gonna face a lot of difficulties, or lots of difficulties. But yeah, we're in the position to at least consider these difficulties. So great, present us with them. Bring on the difficulties.
Bring them on. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. Bring them on. And
Thank
look
you.
forward to seeing how the album turns out and how the tour goes. And hopefully you'll get down here into Australia sometime soon. So,
I really hope so. I love Australia. I love
it's great.
Australia. I still remember, I have to say that the first Australian tour we did with Ed Guy, it was one of the best. That was probably the healthiest time of Ed Guy. And it was really five against the world, and five against the world and Australia behind us. The first Australian tour, it was just, hey, five kids out from East Bumfuck on the other side of the planet in the land of rat tails and white tails and ratbacks and whatever,
Yeah.
huntsmen and all these disgusting little creatures with more than two legs. I mean, four legs I can deal with, but
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
more than four legs,
yeah.
I'm really suspicious about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love Australia, and I really hope to be back with Avantasia too.
Oh, good. Brilliant. Well, I'll see you when you're here next time. Okay.
Thank you for the interview. Thank you for the
Thanks, man.
chat.
No, I loved it. Take it
Have a
easy,
great
yeah?
day.
You too, right?
Yeah.